Welcome to UniLife, where we talk about university and university life. We're joined by two guests. If you guys want to introduce yourself real quick, Arun, you can go first.
Yeah, sure. So, hi, my name is Arun Karnadasan. The high school I went to was Agricultural Collegiate Institute. And in the past 4 years, I was very interested in business as I wanted to participate in numerous business programs. I've been part of the JA for the past year, and I've got to say I learned a lot of experience. I got to learn such as accounting, finance, marketing. I learned a lot more. And through these experiences, I got to be able to go to the Schiller School of Business, which I am in now. And thank you so much for having me, Liliana.
How about you, Navithan?
Hey everyone, so my name is Navithan Singham. I also went to Agincourt, and I'm currently going to University of Windsor for a dual program in Business Administration and Computer Science. I look forward to this conversation and hope to have some fun and give you guys some great advice.
So I know both of you did JA, but just so you know, just so you can remind me, what other programs you did in high school that helped you into getting into university? You believe that helped you get into university?
Yeah, so I'll go first. So I believe like one of the main reasons that helped me get into university was my work experience. I worked at my parents' like small business for about 10 years by now. I also have like I also created a couple like small businesses just for myself to also gain like that entrepreneurship experience. Like I used to like sell fidget spinners, just like garage sales, like all that type of stuff. Then I also used to work at a hotel, which I believe is pretty useful. And I feel like that's one of a few main reasons.
Yeah, I can add on. So in my high school experience, in grade nine, I actually never joined any clubs because I never had to actually have the opportunity because I wanted to focus on academics. However, in grade 10, I joined the boys soccer team, and I felt like certain small extracurriculars actually made you a more all-rounded person. So I actually joined the soccer team for grade 10 and 11, but through COVID and all those reasons, I wasn't able to join. However, in grade 12, I became part of the marketing team for the yearbook council. And I felt like that was shining through my application because it was also a business experience as I got to learn how to do Photoshop and make sure everyone was able to buy our yearbook. And in addition, I was also a music student as well. So it kind of showed that not only are academics important, but extracurriculars are also important. And like Navithan said, my Navithan's parents are also entrepreneurs. My parents are also entrepreneurs as well, as they own a tax firm. So I also volunteer there as well.
To add on, which extracurriculars you have the most like fun with, and like you learned the most from?
I can add this one. So I believe that the one that has the most experience to me was my soccer team. So you're probably wondering why the soccer team? Well, one reason is because of teamwork. So in my university, we actually have a lot of group projects. And although there are some groups that are actually where we're dedicated to work and where there's some that are not able to work at all, I believe that the soccer team was the biggest reason why I'm able to work with the big team and much more.
Yeah, so for me, I feel like the extracurricular that had the most impact would be an extracurricular I did called Vision Youth. So this program was technically a leadership program at which you do a bunch of certain activities, such as we had like hiking trips. We also had like Toastmasters was also involved. So gaining that basic public speaking skills, I also learned how to, I completed my first aid training there. And at the end of the day, at the end of each program, I would get the Duke of Edinburgh Award. And this award, I feel like helps teach you the certain techniques on what it's like to like manage time, because in order to get that award, aside from doing like the hiking and the outdoor experience, you also need a certain amount of volunteer hours, a certain amount of sports hours, like just playing sports or anything physical, and then you also need a certain amount of hours doing anything related to the art. So like one of the examples that I did in my first year was public speaking, which I used Toastmasters as an example. During this program, I feel like I learned a lot of stuff related to leadership and what it takes to like run a team. I also had to like manage with my teammates since we were hiking for like a couple of days, and this was like 20, 30 kilometers stuff, and we had to stay overnight. So it was all like that packing. We also had to map our own location on how we get there. And throughout that experience, I learned mainly what it's like to be a leader, what it's like to necessary to in the form of charisma, like how I could get people to technically work together.
Oh, that both of them sound like very cool. So just how did you manage your time, both of you? How do you manage your time with so many like extracurriculars, so many diverse extracurriculars and stuff to get like the good grades and everything to get into university? Because I know a lot of other students would be worried about managing a lot of like extracurriculars with school. So I'm just wondering how both of you did it.
Yeah, sure. So I can go through this one. So one thing that I usually do to manage my time effectively is use a whiteboard. So all I got to do is just write down my classes and my times and figure out, oh, for example, Monday. In my time schedule, I actually have Monday 8:30 to 11:30 an accounting class, and then figure out what days I have class. And then from there, I actually time my schedule. So I also do extracurricular activities as well to become a more all-rounded person. And just to make sure that there are certain things that make me stand out. So I always thought my time from there as well. Of course, you could play games and have fun. That's what I do all the time. And being young, you have to have a lot of fun. So that's one thing I do, use the whiteboard. And another thing I use my phone as well, like Google Calendar. That's one thing, like put an alarm, when to wake up, when to go to sleep, when to do other extracurricular activities, and so much more.
So for me, managing my time, I would say, was probably one of my biggest weaknesses, as I tend to usually do at the moment. So as soon as I hit grade 11 and 12, that's when grades actually mattered. Grade 9 and 10 kind of really didn't spend too much. Actually, I didn't really spend any time studying. And for grade 11 and 12 specifically, my way of managing time was something I learned from watching a YouTube video. So I would set for a certain amount of studying, I would set minimum 3 hours and 3 hours, as well as a 30-minute break. So like the 90-30 rule. When it comes to extracurriculars, I aim for at least one extracurricular a day, which is in the evening. So I would aim for at least 3 to 4 extracurriculars every single week, and usually it would be in the evening, so I have enough time to also study and catch up with school.
So you guys did you managed your time well. You did a lot of extracurriculars and everything. You got into the school you wanted to. But how did these extracurriculars pursue you to get into the school? How did they influence you to choose the program you went into?
Yeah, for sure. That's a really good question. Thank you, Miliana. So one thing that I did was that one thing I was really part of is a junior achievement company program. And I felt like this program actually brought my inner entrepreneurship skill, although I wasn't part of an executive team role. And I also had to make sure that I was part of the finance team. One thing that I did to make sure that these clubs were actually part of me and when I was going to university was that I figured out which ones I would join and figure out what skills I would need in order for me to figure it out. Because universities don't really look, although they look for academics, they also look for extracurricular activities. They want to see what an all-rounded person you are. So I wanted to touch on the basics of everything. So I wanted to be I want to be part of the music club. I want to be part of the entrepreneurship club. I also want to be part of the school team as well. So having these small set of skills actually makes you a better all-rounded person, and actually spots you and figures out what makes yourself unique against the other applicants that apply for a university.
So for me, ever since I was a kid, I knew I was interested in business specifically. So I guess some extracurriculars that had an even bigger impact, which made me want to pursue business even more, would be the first one would be Junior Achievement, which was an incredible program, which most of you are already part of. And it technically helped me learn what it's like to actually start a company, the basics, what you need to prepare for. And I feel like that was really important. And in the future, I do plan to create my own business. So I feel like with the knowledge I gained and the experience, as I was a member of the marketing team, I feel like now I learned more about what it takes to market a product. And even I learned the basics of the other type of department, since I got to make new friends with almost every single member of my team back in JA when we created the Life log.
So just one final question for the both of you. Which extracurriculars would you recommend the most? Like if you have to pick two that you've done, which one would you recommend for students to do the most?
Yeah, sure, I can answer this final question. So one thing that I really recommend is public speaking. So when I was younger, I actually was part of this public speaking program for 4 years. And I feel like everybody should know public speaking because even if you're having a small engagement talk or whether you're actually doing a presentation, presentations happen anywhere, whether it's school or so much more. So I believe that's one of the biggest clubs or actually an outside activity that I would encourage everyone to join. The second one would be to find something that can help you achieve your dream. So whether if you want to become an artist and an actual drawer, maybe go to art class for about 2 to 3 hours a week. And these activities, this specific activity can be ranging from anyone. For me, it was specifically about music. I like to play the violin, so I always want to focus on that for an hour or 2 hours a week. So those were the two things, mainly public speaking and focusing on what career you like the most.
Yeah, I would agree with what Arunan said. So for two extracurriculars, I would highly suggest is one of them would be anything related to leadership and gaining confidence. Public speaking is a perfect example. When I did Toastmasters, we learned how to talk in front of people. And I was also in a program called YLP, which was a youth leadership program, which focuses on teaching you public speaking skills. And I've actually won a few times. And every time I won, I would have to present in front of hundreds of people. And honestly, it's pretty scary at first. After that, I got used to it and I would confidently say I could present in front of 1 million people and I wouldn't feel nervous. And the second one, I would also agree with Arunan, something related to your passion or something you plan to do in the future. Since a lot of people don't really know what they want to do in the future, I would suggest doing a program which is something you're fully interested in. So for me, I was interested in business. So junior achievement was a perfect example. When I heard about junior achievement, I told most of my friends and I got them all to like sign up together. Me and Aruna were actually on the same team last time.
Thank you guys both for all the information. That was really well done, really well said, and thank you for your time. Please follow us on UniLife. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on Instagram, and have a nice day.